They handed me a mop. I handed them a blueprint. And when the entire base froze during a live simulation, I was the only one who knew what to do, because I wrote the damn code. My name is Emma Reyes, I'm 30, and I was assigned to the armory at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, as a temporary assistant. My colleagues called me the janitor with a security badge, unaware I held double PhDs in mechanical engineering and defense systems. They didn't know I'd designed the rifles they cleaned, the drones they admired, and the targeting algorithms they trusted. When a NATO exercise crashed, I stepped forward, rebooted the system in 90 seconds, and left them stunned. This is my story of quiet brilliance and the moment I rewrote their assumptions. It started 6 months ago at Fort Bragg's armory, where I was sent after a Pentagon project wrapped. The assignment was a cover. My real work involved testing next-gen systems I'd developed, but my CO, Major Alan Carter, kept my role classified to avoid leaks. My colleagues, led by Captain Greg Walsh, saw me logging inventory and assumed I was a low-level tech. At a team lunch, Walsh smirked, tossing me a rag. "Reyes, clean the rifles. It's what you're here for." Tech Sergeant Lisa Dunn laughed. "Janitor with a badge." I stayed quiet, wiping a scope, my PhDs and patents hidden. They thought I was a nobody, but I was designing their tools. The truth? I wasn't just an assistant. I'd earned my doctorates at MIT, developing the M37 rifle's recoil system, the Raven drone's navigation, and the Firelink algorithm for precision targeting. My work was in every armory at Fort Bragg, but my contracts with DARPA kept my name off public records. I had evidence: patent filings for the M37 and Firelink, emails from DARPA's Dr. Helen Price praising my designs, and a classified commendation from General Paul Kendrick for revolutionary systems. My colleagues never asked, they assumed I was temporary help. Walsh's jabs grew sharper during a team briefing. "Reyes, stick to cleaning," he said, pointing to a crate. "Leave the tech to us." Dunn nodded, chuckling. "She's not even military." I smiled, logging a drone's serial number. I'd just returned from a DARPA test where my algorithm had guided a strike with 0 error. They thought I was a glorified janitor, but I was the reason their systems worked. The turning point came when I learned of a NATO exercise at Fort Bragg, testing my Firelink algorithm in a live simulation. A system failure was rumored, perfect for my reveal. The exercise would be public, with generals, media, and my colleagues watching. I saw my chance. I wasn't seeking revenge, but truth. The briefing, live-streamed by Raleigh News, would be my stage to show I wasn't just cleaning weapons. I'd built them. I prepared meticulously, knowing Walsh's ego and Dunn's skepticism could dismiss me if I wasn't airtight. I gathered evidence: my patents, DARPA emails, and Kendrick's commendation. My friend, Dr. Sam Rivera, a DARPA engineer who'd tested my designs, agreed to back me. "Emma, you're a genius," he said over coffee in Raleigh. "Why let them call you a janitor?" I sipped my latte, my eyes narrowing. "They'll see when the system crashes." Sam had logs from Firelink's tests, showing my code's precision. I needed to ensure my role was clear during the exercise. I emailed Dr. Price, requesting to monitor Firelink's performance on site. "I designed it," I wrote. "I can fix any failure." She replied, "You're cleared, Emma. Stay low until needed." Sam connected me with Tara Hayes, a Raleigh News reporter covering the exercise. I sent an anonymous tip: "The armory assistant isn't who you think. Watch the simulation." Tara replied, "I'm on it. Sounds big." I wanted Walsh's shock broadcast live. I kept up the assistant act, cleaning rifles while overhearing Walsh's plans to impress the generals. Dunn texted, "Reyes, don't mess up the armory during the exercise." I replied, "Just keeping it tidy." They didn't know I'd be at the control center ready to step in. I practiced a statement for after the fix, explaining my designs without bitterness. I wanted to honor my work, not fight. I studied Firelink's code, confirming I could bypass any failure in seconds. My patents gave me authority. The night before the exercise, I stood in my apartment reviewing my blueprint for Firelink, its lines my creation. My evidence was backed up on a USB and cloud server. I texted Sam, "Ready?" He replied, "You're about to own that base." My colleagues thought I was the janitor. Tomorrow I'd show them I wrote the code. Hey, if you're hooked on this story, hit that subscribe button for Revenge Line. We bring you epic drama and takedown tales every week. Comment below and tell us where you're watching from. Stay tuned because Emma's about to flip the script. The NATO exercise at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, was days away and I, Emma Reyes, was in my Raleigh apartment, preparing to prove I was more than the janitor with a security badge, my colleagues thought. They mocked me for cleaning weapons, unaware I held double PhDs in mechanical engineering and defense systems, having designed the M37 rifle Raven drone and Firelink algorithm they relied on. My commanding officer, Major Alan Carter, had assigned me to the armory as a cover to test my systems, but Captain Greg Walsh and Tech Sergeant Lisa Dunn saw me as a glorified cleaner. When the exercise's systems crashed, I'd step in, reboot Firelink in 90 seconds and show them I wrote the code. I'd spent weeks building my case to ensure my role was undeniable, knowing Walsh's arrogance and Dunn's skepticism could dismiss me if I wasn't airtight. I had patent filings for the M37's recoil system and Firelink's targeting algorithm, emails from DARPA's Dr. Helen Price praising my designs, and a classified commendation from General Paul Kendrick for revolutionary systems. My friend Dr. Sam Rivera, a DARPA engineer, had tested my work. "Emma, you're a legend," he said over coffee in Raleigh. "Why let them call you a janitor?" I gripped my mug, my voice low. "They'll see when the system fails." I needed to secure my role during the exercise. I emailed Dr. Price requesting clearance to intervene if Firelink crashed. "I designed it," I wrote. "I can fix it fastest." She replied, "You're authorized, Emma. Stay discreet until needed." Sam connected me with Tara Hayes, a Raleigh news reporter covering the exercise. I sent another anonymous tip. "The armory assistant is the key to the simulation. Watch her." Tara replied, "Cameras are locked in." I wanted Walsh's shock live-streamed, his janitor narrative shattered. At Fort Bragg, I played the assistant, logging rifle serials while overhearing Walsh's plans to impress NATO generals. Dunn smirked during a team meeting. "Reyes, keep the armory tidy for the exercise," she said, tossing me a rag. I smiled, cleaning a drone's lens, my patents hidden. Walsh added, "Stick to mopping, Reyes. Leave the tech to us." I nodded, saving Dunn's text, "Don't mess up the gear, janitor." They didn't know I'd be at the control center ready to fix their systems. I dropped hints saying, "The exercise sounds complex," but Walsh laughed. "Complex for you, maybe." Their ignorance was my edge. I needed allies to back my reveal. Sam agreed to monitor the exercise from DARPA's feed, ready to confirm my designs. "Your code's bulletproof, Emma," he said over a secure call. "I'll vouch for you." I also contacted Lieutenant Maria Kim, a systems tech who'd used Firelink in training. "Your algorithm's a game changer," she said. "I'll back you if it crashes." Maria had logs showing Firelink's precision in tests. Their support was my shield. Walsh's ego wouldn't stand against facts. I prepared my intervention, studying Firelink's code to pinpoint failure points. My plan was simple. If the system crashed, I'd bypass the override, reboot manually, and restore targeting in under 90 seconds. I included my M37 and Raven designs in a backup presentation, proving my role. One slide, anonymized, showed Dunn's text, "Janitor with a badge." My delivery was technical, professional, designed to command respect. I practiced in my apartment, pacing before a mirror, my voice steady but sharp. I wasn't there to please, I was there to fix. The unit's doubts surfaced early. Major Carter emailed, warning, "Some officers question your presence, Emma. Be ready." I replied, "My designs will answer them." I studied the exercise's scope: NATO drones, M37 rifles, and Firelink in a live simulation against a mock enemy. My systems were the backbone, but the team didn't know. I also reviewed Fort Bragg's protocols, confirming I had clearance to intervene in a system failure. My PhDs and patents gave me authority. Nobody's name, just mine. My colleagues sensed trouble. At a pre-exercise briefing, Walsh pulled me aside. "Reyes, don't screw up the armory during NATO's visit," he said, his tone sharp. I shrugged, organizing a crate. "Just keeping it tidy, sir." Dunn texted later, "Stay out of the control room, janitor." I saved it, adding it to my evidence. Their arrogance fueled me, they thought I was insignificant. Carter called, his voice calm. "Emma, you're our ace. Don't let them rattle you." I smiled into the phone, silent. I needed media to amplify the moment. Tara Hayes' crew would livestream the exercise with access to Raleigh's news outlets. I sent another tip. The assistant's role will shock you. Watch the control room. Tara replied, "We're ready." I wanted the unit's whispers and Walsh's shock broadcast live. I also contacted DARPA's public affairs officer, Dr. Neil Patel, sending a note. Ensure Reyes' contributions are noted if Firelink fails. He replied, "Your work's on record, Emma." My evidence, patents, emails, commendations, was backed up on a USB and cloud server. I spent nights refining my presence, reviewing Firelink's code line by line. I prepared a statement for after the fix, explaining my designs without bitterness. I wanted to honor my work, not fight. The exercises program listed me as armory support, perfect for my low profile until the crash. My intervention would be undeniable. Code I wrote, systems I built. The day before the exercise, I got a call from Dr. Price. "Emma, Firelink's at risk of overload. You're our fix." My heart raced. She confirmed my moment. I packed my laptop loaded with Firelink source code. I texted Sam, "It's time." He replied, "You're about to run that base." I called Maria confirming she'd be there. "Walsh'll choke when you save it," she said, laughing. I stood in my apartment staring at my blueprint. My colleagues thought I was the janitor. Tomorrow I'd show them I wrote the code. Hey, if you're loving this revenge story, smash that subscribe button for Revenge Line. We drop epic drama and takedowns every week. Comment below and tell us where you're watching from. Stay tuned because Emma's about to rewrite the rules. The control room at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, buzzed with tension as the NATO exercise unfolded, screens flashing with drone feeds and targeting data powered by my Firelink algorithm. I, Emma Reyes, stood in the back, my armory assistant badge clipped to my uniform, my double PhDs in mechanical engineering and defense systems hidden from colleagues who called me the janitor with a security badge. Captain Greg Walsh and Tech Sergeant Lisa Dunn mocked me for cleaning rifles, unaware I'd designed the M37 Raven drone and Firelink they relied on. When the system crashed mid-simulation, I stepped forward, rebooted it in 90 seconds and left them speechless. This was my moment to show I wrote the code. My allies, Dr. Sam Rivera from DARPA and Lieutenant Maria Kim, sat nearby ready to confirm my designs. Tara Hayes, a Raleigh news reporter, was in the press pool, her camera crew live streaming to local outlets. My colleagues, including Walsh and Dunn, stood at the consoles, expecting to impress NATO generals, unaware I was the key to saving the exercise. My evidence was ironclad. Patent filings for Firelink and M37, emails from DARPA's Dr. Helen Price, and a commendation from General Paul Kendrick. I was ready to rewrite their assumptions with a blueprint. The exercise began, drones soaring over a mock battlefield, M37 rifles firing in sync with Firelink's targeting. Walsh barked orders, smirking at me. "Ray, stay out of the way. This is real work." Dunn laughed, whispering to a tech, "Janitor's here for the show." I stood silent, my laptop ready, my override code memorized. The screens flickered. Firelink's data stream glitched, drones veering off course. Alarms blared, generals frowning. Walsh shouted, "Fix it now." Techs scrambled, failing to bypass the lockout. I stepped forward, my voice calm. "I've got this." The room froze, all eyes on me. Walsh scoffed. "Raise back to your mop." I ignored him, plugging my laptop into the main console. "I wrote Firelink," I said, typing the override code. In 88 seconds I rebooted the system, drones realigning, targeting restored. The screens lit up, the simulation back on track. General Kendrick stood stunned. "Who trained her?" he whispered. Dr. Rivera, watching via DARPA feed, spoke through a headset. "She built it." The room gasped, cameras zooming. Walsh's face paled, Dunn's jaw dropped. I projected my patent filings showing Firelink's code. My code. I designed the algorithm, the M37 recoil system and Raven's navigation, I said, my voice steady. I showed Dr. Price's email. "Reyes, systems are revolutionary." Maria stepped forward, holding up test logs. "Emma's algorithm aced every trial," she said. "She's why we're operational." I displayed Dunn's text, "Janitor with a badge." The room murmured, some officers chuckling, others glaring at Dunn. Tara Hayes' crew caught Walsh's shock. the live stream beaming to Raleigh's viewers. A NATO colonel asked, "How do you bypass the lockout so fast?" I pulled up a slide, my tone sharp. "I know every line of Firelink's code because I wrote it." I showed my M37 blueprint, its recoil system, my design. General Kendrick nodded, addressing the room. "Reyes saved this exercise. Her systems are the backbone." The officers clapped, some standing. Walsh tried to recover, stammering, "I didn't know." I cut him off, calm but firm. "You didn't ask, Captain. You assumed I was the janitor." Major Carter took the mic, detailing Firelink's impact. "Perfect targeting, zero errors. Emma's work is why we succeeded," he said, projecting my commendation. "Reyes' designs redefine defense." The room erupted in applause, cameras capturing Dunn shrinking in her seat. I spoke briefly, my voice clear. "They called me a janitor. I let my blueprints speak." I showed Walsh's order, "Stick to mopping, Reyes." The crowd gasped, whispers spreading. Tara Hayes scribbled, her headline forming, "Armory Assistant Saves NATO Exercise." The exercise ended with a flawless simulation, Firelink guiding every strike. The generals saluted me, calling me Dervthris. Walsh approached, his voice shaky. "Emma, I misjudged you." I replied, my eyes firm. "You dismissed me without asking. My work speaks now." Dunn texted an apology, "Didn't know you were a PhD." I didn't reply, she'd mocked me for months. Tara Hayes' story hit. Engineer posing as Armory Assistant stuns Fort Bragg. I was offered a DARPA lead role, designing next-gen systems. I stood outside the control room, Fort Bragg's fields stretching before me, my patents in hand. The unit called me Dervis, their respect earned. Walsh and Dunn faded into routine duties, their egos checked. Major Carter invited me to brief the Pentagon, saying, "You're our star." I nodded, my voice steady. "I've always been." They handed me a mop. I handed them a blueprint, and saved their exercise. Hey, if you loved this epic takedown, smash that subscribe button for Revenge Line. We drop the best drama and revenge stories every week. Comment below and tell us where you're watching from. Thanks for joining us.